As soon as I say Pac-12, I think mediocrity.
Oh my
But
God.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis welcome special guest star Lamar Barrett. Lamar is a former college basketball coach and current NBA scout who helps the Odd Coaches discuss the impact of injuries on NBA teams, help finalize the Odd Coaches debate of the top 75 players in the history of the NBA, as well as his thoughts on current issues in the world of basketball. Welcome to today's show. Dr. Keith Adams is the president of the CKA Save Project, a nonprofit organization designed to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. He is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college levels. He has won numerous championships and epitomizes professionalism. Coach Mike Franchise Francis is one of the most successful football and basketball coaches in the state of Maryland. He too is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college level and is self-admittedly a little rough around the edges. Both men have mentored countless student athletes, teachers, and coaches using their unique methods and approaches to leadership. Both men also share a unique and special friendship that was cultivated often through their unique perspective of life and leadership. Dr. Adams through his extensive educational background and Coach Francis through his life experiences. Can these two men share a podcast without driving each other crazy? Welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast.
greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, the Cowboy James Storm, to my Robert Roode in Beer Money. TNA, man. The icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, how are you on this Wind Up Wednesday episode of the Odd Coaches Podcast?
I'm doing great. I got a hangover from going to the Weds game last night. I got drunk from watching bad basketball.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're trying something new on this Wind Up Wednesday episode. We actually have a special guest sitting down with us for the entire show, our good friend Lamar Barrett. Lamar, how are you this morning, sir?
Man, I'm doing well. I was at the same game last night. I don't know if I was I was probably more working than I was having fun, but yeah, I can say it wasn't the best, but hey, it's mid-January and we can kind of understand that reason.
Especially in the pandemic. You know, we got people, yeah.
And fans, let me formally introduce Lamar. Lamar is a longtime high school and college basketball coach and current NBA scout. And he has been a loyal listener and has listened to our NBA top 75 choices. So he's going to join us for this episode. So instead of our usual format, in segment one, we're going to jump right into our topics. And our first topic is the NBA. A lot of injuries coming up. It's the middle of January. It's almost the All-Star break. We're at close to the halfway point of the season and the NBA trade deadline. And please know that this is not an all-inclusive list. I know recently Kevin Durant's had an injury, but I want to kind of give you some of these heads and some of these names. And then, gentlemen, give me your thoughts on it. So Brooklyn, LaMarcus Aldridge is out. Chicago, Zach LaVine. Dallas, Willie Cauley-Stein. Golden State, James Wiseman. The Clippers, Kawhi Leonard has not played all season to my knowledge. The Lakers are missing Anthony Davis. Zion has not played for New Orleans. And I want to give you one more. The Knicks are missing Derrick Rose. And let me give you one more again. Dame Lillard is out. So plus you got COVID-related restrictions. Mm-hmm. Coach Franchise, we're going to tag you in. Any thoughts on the injuries and just dealing with it during this time of the season?
It's tough. And I don't know. I know injuries are a part of the game. You know, we always say that, but it just seems like there's more injuries now. And I don't want to start I don't want to talk about the grassy knoll, but I wonder how much of this is actually, you know, injuries or it's just other things being on the list or they're on the list for other reasons is my point. I'm sorry to see so many good players here. You got Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Victor Oladipo, a local kid who really, really puts in a lot of work, but seems to be on that list. Last couple years, Zion Williamson, Derrick Rose, injury riddled. I would like to get Lamar's take on injury riddled when you get a chance. And I was really hoping to see Damian Lillard last night, and then that was one of the major reasons I wanted to go see Portland play. But and he's out too. So,
Lamar, your turn, and welcome, sir.
Well, a few of those guys that you had on that list, I think people don't realize, like Olympics, huge part. Damian Lillard, Zach LaVine was on that team. Like those guys, and Zach is, I think he's getting ready to come back, or he's back, but those guys, that has a little bit to do with it. They don't realize the how quick of a turnaround it is, how much, you had, you look at the Bucks, you had, Drew Holiday was out a little bit early. Chris Middleton was out. Like, that's a lot. And their bodies didn't recover as quickly, right? Early. Because you out of it. Like, they went from NBA Finals to Olympics, shorter term off. AD's was kind of a freak, accident. Kawhi, we knew was out. Paul George is recently, he's out now, and but it is part of the game, and I don't think people realize, since 2019, and this is 2022, they played 3 seasons in a short amount of time. I don't think people realize that. You know what I'm saying? So the NBA Finals was 2020, which the Lakers won in October, whatever it was, it was September, October. It was late. Might have been November, October. They turn around, and the 2021 season started in December.
Mm-hmm.
They finished that in May. So you almost had 3 seasons in less than 15 months. Wow. That's a lot of time, and that's what people don't realize. And those guys are so used to. They're used to getting out in May, getting out in June, but then training camp starts in September. So their body, their body hasn't had a chance to rest, and then they also go through their preseason condition. Look at Luka Doncic. He's huge. Played in the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? That stuff, man. And he's been injured this year, so it plays a lot, man. It's people don't realize 3 seasons in 14 months is a lot. That's a lot.
Yes, indeed. All right. So our second story, the WNBA. The OCP is doing its homework every week in preparation for the WNBA season. Representation matters. And, thank you for my tag team partner to allow us to continue to expand. And the WNBA season tips off Friday, May 6, 2022, with an expanded regular season that includes a record high of 36 games per team. So for our fans who may be unfamiliar with the WNBA has 12 teams. In the Eastern Conference, they have the Atlanta Dream, the Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun, the Indiana Fever, the New York Liberty, and local to us, the Washington Mystics. And in the Western Conference, they have the Dallas Wings, the Las Vegas Aces, the Los Angeles Sparks, the Minnesota Lynx, the Phoenix Mercury, and Seattle Storm. So a couple of quick things. Why is the regular season condensed? As Lamar eloquently said, a typical WNBA regular season runs from the middle of May until the middle of September, with playoffs sometime in October. This summer, however, things are going to be a little different. Opening night has been moved to May 6th. The regular season ends August 14th, and that's nearly a month shorter than usual. And why? The 2022 FIBA World Cup is in Australia, and it begins September 22. So WNBA players will pretty much go through what Lamar had mentioned about the NBA. So I want you all as fans to look for the OCP to begin over the next couple of weeks profiling players, teams, and stories in preparation for the WNBA season, including the introduction to the Commissioner's Cup, All-Star Game information, free agency, and we're even going to shoot our shot and see if we can get some interview requests. We're going to do our homework and see what happens. Coach Francis, anything to add with that?
I'm proud of the expansion. I think they're trying to grow it properly. The extension of the season. I think they're trying to grow it properly. The WNBA is definitely. We talk about representation. It's good basketball, and we always talk. If you're a high school coach and you don't watch women's basketball, then you're doing a disservice to your kids. No matter what sport, they're the most fundamental. We talk about it all the time. I was fortunate to spend a brief period of time inside of University of Maryland women's basketball program and see what it takes, what it's like, and the preparation and how hard they work. And I'm sure the men's is just similar. It's just not as financially profitable yet, and that's the only difference between the two to me. But it's good basketball. I love watching it.
Coach Barrett, anything to add, sir?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what he said. It's what 36 games. It's condensed, and they try to go. If they can't do it during the NBA season, because it's tough. When I say that is they're trying to compete against as less. They're trying to have the least competition as possible. Like they want people to watch their product. So that means if they go against baseball, that's fine. But they can't go against football. They can't go against college athletics. So they figured out a time or time slot. When is the best time? Because people want to see basketball all year round. And so it's like, so when basketball season is ending, let's bring the WNBA in right before basketball starts up again. So you see that with the condensed, and like he talked about the money, it's there's not enough people that have, and people don't realize, like the NBA, it took the NBA a long time. It started in 46. It didn't become popular until when Larry Bird, like 79. It was the NBA, but it was like, it was Magic and Larry who took it to another level. We were watching
it to live television because the finals were on tape delay.
Right. So it's still, that's, you're talking about, 30 plus years, and the WNBA, I think, is coming up. It started in 96, 97. So, will it hit that? Will it get better? Is it someone that elevates the game like what Magic and Bird did, and then later on Mike took over? Who knows? But people forget that the NBA, it took them, close to 30 some years. It was more than 30 some years before it took that jump. Yeah.
All right. So now we want to talk a little bit about men's college basketball. Selection Sunday is about a month away. It's March 13th, 2022. And the odd coaches want to start helping you with your brackets. We want you to start thinking about it. So we're going to give you just some insight on what's going on in the major conferences. So in the Big 12 currently has number teams in the top 25. Baylor, who keeps losing, Kansas, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Texas. And the Big 12's record versus ranked teams in non-conference play is 7-6. The Big 10 has a number of teams in the top 25, including Purdue, Michigan State, who lost. And man, did they try to steal that one yesterday. But that's another story. Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Illinois. I love that big fellow, by the way. And their record versus ranked teams in non-conference play, 7-7. So keep that in mind. The SEC has teams in the top 25. Auburn, LSU, Kentucky, quite a throttling of Tennessee, who's also in the top 25, and Alabama.
7 points.
And their record versus ranked teams in non-conference play is 6-4. The Big East has Villanova, Xavier, Seton Hall, and Providence, and their record versus ranked teams is 7-10. The Pac-12, man, this is not our football episode, but as soon as I say Pac-12, I think mediocrity.
My God. No.
The Pac-12 has UCLA, USC, and Arizona, and their record versus ranked teams in non-conference play, similar to football, is 2-10.
Yes.
The ACC only, I can't believe this, folks. The ACC only has one team in the top 25, and that is Duke. Their record against ranked teams in non-conference play is 4-15. And finally, the American Athletic Conference, the AAC, has Houston in the top 25, and their record versus ranked teams in non-conference play is 2-5. So again, Coach, this is just an overview. We haven't included the A10 or anything, but we're starting to get our minds set for the NCAA tournament. Any thoughts about kind of checking out college basketball at the halfway point?
I watch it. I'm always going to watch it. We all had that, that thing, that dream about coaching in college. And one thing about basketball is it never leaves you. Unfortunately, you know how I am when I feel about these clickbait rankings. Gonzaga, UCLA, Baylor. Baylor's, they did a little proving, but in the end of the day, I saw Kansas. I saw Kansas. They are going to be a hell of a team to have to beat and deal with come tournament time this year. If from what I'm seeing, USC is okay, but I'll take Kansas over anybody they have in the top 10.
All right, and Coach Barrett, you and I have an affinity for data. That's why I put their record versus ranked teams in non-conference play out there for you especially. Any thoughts you have as a former college basketball coach as we kind of reach the halfway point?
What's interesting, and I heard you hadn't done it yet. Me, the job I have now, professional man, I'm fortunate to watch all those teams. And I was at Kansas. I was at the Garden at the State Farm Classic when they played at the beginning of the year. So I've seen Kansas several times, but I'm like, and I'm gonna go to this. Like, people gotta stop. I know you kind of mentioned Gonzaga, but there's a Power Five. But I think clearly, I may get killed for this when people listen, but I think there's no difference. Outside of the Power Five, you can throw the Atlantic 10, the Mountain West, and the West Coast Conference against, I think, to me personally, the last few years have been better than the Big East and the AAC.
Yes.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
They have more pros than those guys. That basketball is unbelievable. And that's what people tend to link the Big East. It's the old Big East versus the new Big East is totally different. The AAC, I mean, Memphis not what Memphis used to be, or like those
they can get along with each other.
So it's totally different. Yeah, they have some name recognition at the top, but as far as basketball, give me the Atlantic 10, give me the Mountain West, because when you look at the Atlantic 10,
A10.
You St. Bonaventure got popular two pros, VCU. St. Joe. I mean, St. Joe's has been down, but St. Joe's is historically good. You got Richmond, who's good. Like, St. Louis. It's so many teams in Atlantic 10. George Mason, Kimmy English is doing a good job now. So,
yes,
like, people don't realize, like, the Atlantic 10 is really good. The Mountain West, you go to San Diego State, UNLV, like Utah State, like teams that people don't hear about, but they're really good. Yeah. And then come tournament time, you're like, where do they come from? And Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference, it's not just Gonzaga. St. Mary's is good. San Francisco is good. And Gonzaga plays one of the best non-conference schedules.
Yes, they do.
Sure
Get them ready for everyone else. And
they do.
So it's going to be interesting. I think it's more parity because you probably got, and I'm going to say this, you probably got three guys that's the best in college basketball. I'm going to say three guys who are the best pro potential guys. They're all young. But you got some guys in college basketball that's older that understand what it takes. So it's going to be interesting come tournament time. Like the older guys versus the younger guys. It's going to be interesting.
True, but we talk about Gonzaga and BYU, them dudes, they like, I always joke with them, they like 25 anyway. You know what I mean? So So, so they well experienced. Most of them have wives and children and all that shit. But
All right. So for the last part of this first segment, women's college basketball, there's still again about 2 months left to Selection Sunday, and the OCP wants to welcome back several teams to the national spotlight, and those teams include Tennessee, LSU, Duke, Notre Dame, North Carolina, and Oklahoma. Welcome back. You have been sorely missed. We have tried, and I actually went to Oklahoma to speak and present to their teachers education program. And while I was there, I had a chance to see Oklahoma women's basketball, and man, they can pack a gym and they play really hard. So it's great to see them back. Coach Franchise, any thoughts before we move on from this segment on the resurgence of former powers such as Tennessee?
yeah, it's the blue blood, so to speak, when it comes to women's basketball. You got Tennessee, Louisville, South Carolina, Maryland, Arizona, Connecticut slid a little bit, but it's good to see that they're still rolling, and it's going to be interesting as everybody's trying to deal with COVID and roster flipping. Like we said before, it kind of changes so much. So I can't wait till they start hitting this conference schedule, because right now, when everybody comes back at the semester break, this is when that conference, and it really gets good. These where the upsets are going to be coming.
All right, Coach Barrett, close us out, sir.
Yeah, I like the resurgence of the teams that were good. It brings more teams. You've had, UConn, who's kind of falling back, losing Paige this year. For her time that she's been out. But man, hey, let's salute Dawn Staley, man.
Yes, sir.
She's beating more ranked opponents. And that's a personal. I mean, I know Dawn, have a relationship with her. We're on the Zoom, every Sunday night. We're part of 12 Inches Over. So I'm proud for her. Carol Lawson is another member of our group at Duke. She's doing a terrific job at Duke. I was kind of torn when Duke and South Carolina had to play each other. Two members of the organization I'm a part of. You got to choose who you're rooting for, and then like Stanford, man, they're still good. Tara Van did a good job. My girl out there, Brittany Anderson, is an assistant. I had to shout her out. She's been a part of Unmasked, and I had to throw her out as well. But it's just good. Coach Adams, I can't say Dr. Adams.
Dr.
Adams.
I earned that.
It's been good. It's been good that there's more parity, but it's still, you still have those teams. South Carolina, Maryland is at the top, Stanford, but you got more teams coming into the fold, especially with UConn taking a dip and they're losing, one of the best players in the country, Paige.
All right. So fans, with that, we're going to take a brief break. And on the other side, we have brought Coach Barrett in to help us finally finish the OCP
Put them hands up,
NBA Top 75.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After this short break.
Rubber hit the road, baby.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. And on this segment of our Wind Up Wednesday episode, hopefully we'll conclude our NBA Top 75 from the Odd Coaches podcast sportscast perspective. And coach and NBA scout Lamar Barrett joins us for this segment. So let me set it up as I have since we've started. As a part of its 75th anniversary celebration, the league released a list of 75 greatest players in NBA history. A similar list was compiled ahead of the 1996-1997 season to honor the 50 greatest players of all time. And of those original 50 members, everyone kept their spot. Originally, the Odd Coaches podcast followed that same thing, but we started to have more questions, so we said everybody was up for debate. The following list of players are on our no debate list, and that took place over a number of periods of time. So I'm going to go in order, and nobody's a bum that we're talking about anyway. But in terms of the OCP, here's our no debate list, and I know our guest has questions about our no debate list and can't wait to hear that. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Nate Archibald, Paul Reason, Charles Barkley, Rick Barry, Elgin Baylor, Dave Bing, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, Billy Cunningham, Tim Duncan, Julius Erving, Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier, Michael Jordan, Sam Jones, Magic Johnson, Kevin Garnett, George Gervin, Elvin Hayes, Jason Kidd, Kawhi Leonard, Karl Malone, Moses Malone, George Mikan, Dirk Nowitzki, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Bob Pettit, Scottie Pippen, Willis Reed, Oscar Robertson, Dennis Rodman, Bill Russell, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas of the Detroit Pistons, Dwayne Wade, Jerry West, Dominique Wilkins, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Davis, Dame Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Dave DeBusschere, Clyde Drexler, Hal Greer, John Havlicek, Jerry Lucas, Pete Maravich, Earl Monroe, Steve Nash, Gary Payton, Dolph Shays, Dwight Howard, Tony Parker, Tracy McGrady, Joe Dumars, Manu Ginobili, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dave Cowens, Lenny Wilkins, Draymond Green, Ray Allen, David Robinson, and Nate Thurmond. We have 5 positions left. So who are we putting on the big board? That's why we have Coach Barrett here. So let me share the names of who's left and then allow my tag team partner to chime in. James Harden, Bob Cousy, Bob McAdoo, Kevin McHale, Reggie Miller, Robert Parrish, Paul Pierce, Bill Sharman, Wes Unseld, Bill Walton, James Worthy, Chris Bosh, and Grant Hill. Coach Francis, we've got a pick 5. Who is on your list as we have Coach Barrett here with us?
Can I pass to Lamar and then I'll come back to you?
Let's pass to Lamar because that's why he is here in the first place. Coach Barrett, which 5 of this would you have selected, sir?
Well, first of all, the 5 out of 13 is very tough. Because I looked at the previous list and there's probably 2 guys that I would have, but I'm not. That's non-debatable. So we're gonna make sure we move on. I think James Harden is a no-brainer. I think James Harden has to be in. I thought the system playing for D'Antoni in the system and the numbers he put up in that stretch in Houston was probably 7 or 8 of the best. I mean, that was a great run with that team, even though he didn't win a championship or any of that stuff. But I still think what he was doing puts him in. Kevin McHale, one of the best low post, one of the best forwards to ever play in this game, to me was a no-brainer. Wes Unseld, one of the best rebounders ever. Like I don't know how you keep out Uncle Wes. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know how Bob McAdoo would be in. And this is where, like, this is a tough. It's hard. Like that. This 5th one is hard because I'm gonna just go down the list. Like Bob Cousy. First of all, he didn't win anything without Bill Russell.
Exactly.
He shot 37.5% from the field. And when I say 37.5%, it was, I mean, y'all, I told y'all, I look at stats. Mm-hmm. There was games that he was like 3 for 19, where he went to the free throw line 12 times. he would still get his points because he went to the line a lot. If you go back and look at those stats, but he shot 37.5% from the field, and he couldn't go use his left hand. He went dribble with his right hand going left. I just can't put him on that list.
Thank you.
Reggie Miller, as time goes on, he gets further and further away from the list because now he's the third all-time leading three-point shooter. He had clutch moments, but I mean, I still don't know what did he ever do. I mean, that one I don't see. I mean, Robert Parrish is kind of he was part of some great teams. So like he's still one of the five I got to choose from. I'm gonna keep him on. Paul Pierce, I think Paul Pierce for a stretch was one of the best one of the best guys at his position. Even though he has more bark than bite. Because he won one championship. You would think that Boston won 3 or 4.
No joke.
But he was on some terrible teams. Bill Sharman. I mean, man, I think like a lot of the older guys. I'm not eliminating him, but like people don't realize, and I throw this out. Wilt Chamberlain was the first guy that was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1979. They shot better than 50% from the field. No one before that. Bill Russell, Cousy, like none of those guys shot better than 50%. 50% or better. So how good was that era? I just don't know. Words that we talked about, like Bill Walton. If you got Bill Walton, then that means you're gonna have Grant Hill. Two guys who had great, outstanding college careers. Two guys that had injuries. Grant Hill had probably his first 6 years in the NBA, and Detroit, like when he was in Detroit, was unbelievable. Like he had some unbelievable years, but is that one enough to be a top 75 NBA guy?
Thank you.
But if you're gonna put Grant Hill in, then you're gonna put Bill Walton in. That's automatic.
Exactly.
No, we're not.
And then Chris Bosh, I would say no, he's not one of the top 75
Thank
guys.
you.
He was good in Toronto. He was part of they won 2 championships in 4 years. He was a big part of it. Bigger than what people think. I just don't know if he's one of your best 75 guys. But I'm shocked. I mean, Harden for sure, McHale for sure, Unseld, McAdoo, and if you put a gun to my head, I'm probably going with Paul Pierce more than anyone else.
I'm going to be like my partner and say, nope, but I'm going to now tag back.
Yes, go ahead.
My partner, and go ahead, sir, because I'm going to get on a rant, so I'm going to let you go ahead. Can we agree on Harden at least?
It's 2-1, so we're gonna go ahead down. Y'all.
All right, so now we got 4 left.
We
got Harden on there. I can look at that.
Oh my God! That hurts me. Go ahead. So Harden is on. Okay.
Well, now we got 4 left.
Okay, we agree. Cousy out.
All right, look, gentlemen. Bob Cousy was a 12-time All-NBA player. 12.
Oh,
he's a 12-time player. I had to say that before we say, okay, we can move on from Bob Cousy. But he's a 12-time All-NBA player.
37.5%.
Again, I'm not going to fight for Bob Cousy. I said he was 12-time
All-NBA. NBA scout. Thank you.
So I'm going to move on from Bob Cousy, but he was 12-time All-NBA. And now, all right, we're done with Bob Cousy.
Go on about your business.
18, it was 8 teams in the NBA when he played.
Yes, I said the data, and now I moved on. So, Mike, if you'll let me, Bob McAdoo, what do you think about him? Because we both, that guy was a 2-time All-NBA player. He played in the NBA, had a small window of success, and then Lamar, he went over to Europe and got that money. Okay.
Yeah, but this ain't the top 75 in Europe. This is not the top 75 in Europe. This is the top 75 NBA players. Shit.
Now, Kevin McHale was one-time All-NBA, man. I don't know, man. Come on. There's nobody.
Top 10 power forward of all time, though. Top 10 power forward of all time.
Mike,
if he's top 10, he got to go in there.
Mike, you're on Kevin McHale?
No, I'm just saying. The biggest thing Kevin McHale got is the up and under move that everybody use. That don't make you top 75. Shit, Meadowlark Lemon can show you how to dribble all kinds of ways, but he ain't top 75.
All right, so we're going to pause on McHale. I agree with you about Reggie Miller. I'm sorry, as much as and Mike knows, I keep trying to find a way to put Reggie Miller in, and each week I keep finding a way to keep
He won't give it up, Lamar. He will not give it up, Lamar.
Robert Parrish, we all said no, so I'm good there. Paul Pierce will give me pause. He was 4-time All-NBA, but yeah, he's really loud about that one title. Mike, what do you think? Paul Pierce in, Paul Pierce out.
Go to YouTube and watch when Jalen Rose questioned his career versus somebody else's who was dogging. I'm gonna tell you right now, you watch that and you immediately say, well, damn, ain't no way. Because Jalen roasted his ass. Jalen gave his stats compared to other people's stats. You remember that, Lamar?
He might have been I think it was D Wade.
Yes. He was trying to come at D Wade. Talking about he had a better career. Jalen pulled the stats up on TV. Ooh. No to Paul Pierce.
All right. Bill Sharman, 7-time All-NBA.
No.
Lamar, any thoughts?
I can't do it. I just
7 times, man.
Man, stop it.
I just go back to the 8 teams and anybody like if you like when you had 2 blacks on the team, like I just it's hard to do that. Like,
Mike brought that up. I
told you. Bob Cousy played. There was only 5 black people in the league.
It's like, isn't it like the all-time? They always say the all-time baseball player, and like he never played against a black guy. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I can't. Or a foreign baseball player.
What did he do against Satchel Paige? Yeah, you know what I mean? Tell me what he hit against Satchel Paige, and then we'll talk.
Mike, are you ready to say yes to Wes Unseld? Because I still got to pause, man. One-time All-NBA, man. One. Only one.
He was also MVP, right? Was he an MVP?
He was an MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same league. Once. It's a heck of a season.
Yes. He's the king of the outlet pass.
All right. I ain't going to yell at Wes because Wes was always nice to me. But we got a show to do. So now we got 3 left. Bill Walton. No. I can see one in there.
This ain't top 75 weed smokers.
Okay, I'm going to let that one go with my partner. Although he has the best nickname, Big Game James, I'm agreeing with you. I'm off Chris Bosh. Yes, I stuck Chris Bosh in on the list. And Mike said no, and now Lamar says no. But Grant Hill was 5-time All-NBA.
Stop it.
I'm digging in on Grant Hill. Lamar, come on, 5-time All-NBA. Paul Pierce was only 4-time NBA. He was only 4 times.
He had a great stretch. I mean, his years in Detroit was unbelievable. I don't take that away. I just like the injuries. I mean, after that, like that's what hurt him. But yeah, if you base it off that 6-year career, yeah, he'll be in the top 75. No question. But I can't take his career even over Paul Pierce's career, who like
Paul Pierce is 4-time All-NBA.
But like Paul Pierce was also think about who Paul Pierce was in the league, like who he was battling in the league at that position. Like Bron was in the league, Melo in the league. Like he had too many guys that were, that's how you got to look at. Like, yeah, he was 4 times. Like Reggie Miller don't have a lot of All NBA. I think
he was only 3 times. 3-time All NBA.
So like, and 2 of them was when Mike wasn't playing.
Touche.
So all right. So it's Paul Pierce is more of who was he playing against at the time.
Thank you.
All right. So gentlemen, we've got 3 left. I was hoping that Lamar will help us, and he did, because now instead of 5, we got 3. But it seems that we might have to continue this. Coach Francis, is there anybody you've got your heart on?
No McAdoo? Like, no one agrees with McAdoo?
No, man. No, that boy, man, he hung around and then stole that money in Europe.
Man, look, McAdoo played. You see, I went through year by year, and I went through every roster to see where he's at. That's what made me go back on Dave Robinson. I went year by year. You know, Basketball Reference, by the way, best thing ever is the Basketball Reference website.
That's fact. That is fact.
I went year by year, and Dave Robinson actually did some work. All right, but the thing is, I always look at the best players get double teamed. I never seen him get double teamed.
That was his argument.
That was my argument. Lamar, we know the best players get double teamed, and they game plan for you. So when you got Tim Duncan on your team, they doubling Tim Duncan. Your ass should eat when you 7 foot.
But
you're on the other side
in David's career, because David from 88 to 97 was a monster. Like, when y'all said, when you watched David Robinson, I was like, David Robinson is the 7th best center to ever play in the NBA. Like that, like you talking about. Think about this.
You sound like another episode.
You talking about Kareem, Wilt, Bill, Shaq,
Bill who?
I mean,
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell would be like 4th to me.
Okay.
But Kareem, you had Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, Bill Russell. You got Moses Malone would be 6.
Where the Dream at?
Dream is 5. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Dream is 5, Moses 6, and then David Robinson and Patrick Ewing would be 8th. Those would be your top 8 centers in NBA history.
Patrick Ewing on it.
How you not put Patrick Ewing? You look at Patrick Ewing numbers.
All right.
You gotta go back and do some research on Patrick Ewing.
I will.
Well, Patrick's on our list anyway.
He on the list, but I'm just,
All right. So let's see here. We're just going to pause, because that's what we end up doing and kicking the can down the road.
Think about it, though. We got 3 spots, right?
We got 3 spots.
Out of those 13 guys. Grant Hill might be, because of it, like Lamar said, his 6 years. Out of those guys, I would put Grant Hill for when he was healthy. He was a monster. He was unguardable.
Now we got 2 spots, because I ain't fighting Grant Hill, baby. Yeah, I want him on there.
I'd say Grant Hill definitely, but I can't. You can't.
I can't live with Bob McAdoo, but that's not going to happen.
No.
You might be able to talk me into Kevin McHale. You might. You already talked me into Wes Unseld. Yes. But, we're going to pause till next week. Mike and I should be able to finish that off.
I want to know what Kevin McHale did without Larry Bird.
Nothing.
Exactly.
And with that, fans,
I got to say this.
Go ahead, Lamar.
How you going to leave Bob McAdoo out? Right?
Oh!
Hold up. Let me give it to you.
Go ahead. Give it to us.
As a rookie, he was 18-9. Then it was 30.6 and 15 rebounds.
We didn't say he was a bum.
Then he was 34.5 and 14 rebounds. Then he was 31.1 and 12 rebounds. 23.7, 13.
I saw the last 7 years, Lamar. I saw the last 7 years, man. No, and again, fans, nobody on this list is a bum. We are trying to say I'm going to quote my partner, top 75.
Yes.
Not top guys we like, not top guys that are good people, but top 75. And I wasn't impressed enough. But yes, he had a window that he was really good, but I like all NBA. Mike likes who's going to double team, and he wasn't recognizing. Then I don't forget that he left. He left and went to Europe. So if he had stayed and done something, even though those last couple, there was a reason why he went to Europe.
But he was on those Lakers teams, though. He was on those Lakers teams.
And so was James Worthy, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You have.
I'm sorry. I had donut. Sorry. Sorry.
Powder up in it. Yeah. Right. That Laker team, man, I'm going to tell you right now, man. And we know that. And we talk about LeBron being this and other players. And one of the things they always say is how they make other players around them better. anybody playing with Magic Johnson can look like all NBA guy. Let's be honest, right? Do we agree on that?
Yes, indeed.
Do we agree
Yeah.
Magic Johnson can make you look better than what you are?
No question. That happens.
Okay. So I think that, and we're looking at two guys who play with Magic.
But McAdoo didn't have numbers that was at the end of his career, which he really didn't have numbers.
True. He had those numbers. I mean, in Buffalo, his
numbers were.
Yeah, in Buffalo. Buffalo, he was killing in Buffalo. You know what I mean?
With the Knicks, though.
Yeah, with the New York Knicks, he did 26. Yeah, okay, all right. 26.
Well, we're going to pause, folks, because
Okay.
we're not going to solve this one. But we would like to thank Coach Barrett for helping us at least get down to another smaller number. And we'll be right back to close up this
We got to have
episode.
him back. We got to have him back.
Yes, we will after this brief break.
Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project's book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success, is now available for purchase. The book serves as both a memoir of Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes numerous personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues, including former George Mason standout Follering Campbell. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. And after a spirited top 75 debate, we're going to tone it down a little bit. And I'm going to mention the OCP top 5 in the NBA and in college basketball. So for the NBA right now, I have Phoenix is 1, Golden State is 2, Memphis is 3, Chicago at 4, and fallen, bad week, and Miami at 5. Coach Franchise, what do you got for your top 5, sir?
I'm in agreement with this. And I see you don't have anybody, outside looking in this week, which makes sense. We don't need it. I'm still not confident in Memphis placement at 3, but I'm gonna go with it for right now. Seeing them play, I would probably put Chicago over them, but we'll just stay with where it is.
Coach Barrett, what do you think, sir? NBA top 5. What do you have, sir?
I like the list. I wouldn't have Memphis at 3. People still forget, like, no matter what, and they're up and down. I don't know how you don't have Brooklyn and Milwaukee. And Milwaukee coming off a championship.
Where's Milwaukee?
It's going to be tough because, like, you repeating is hard, right? Mm-hmm. We know that's hard. And so their whole mindset now is, let's be healthy come playoff time. Like, they know what it takes now. But I still think they're one of the top 5 teams, and Brooklyn as well. Like, now that you got the 3 that, like, when they're playing together, if whatever Kyrie gonna sit out, whatever, but like that team is still, and that's without Lamar Aldridge. They do need a big, but they may have found one in Day'Ron Sharpe, which is interesting that could help them. But I still think Brooklyn and Milwaukee is still one of your top 5 teams. No matter what's going on, I think they're still one of your top 5 teams.
And as a data person, sir, as of the day of this taping, looking at the standings, you are what your record says you are. Memphis,
but think about it. Like,
this got off a 10, 11-game winning streak.
This how we get into your Utah Jazz. They the best regular season damn team ever to play in the NBA, and then it comes playoffs, and they can't beat shit in the playoffs.
This is as of this taping, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
like you just said it. You said it. Milwaukee, the Brooklyn Nets is 27-15. They're half a game behind the Bulls. The Nets just smashed the Bulls. They head to head. Even though they're half a game back, they destroyed them. Now Chicago came off a back-to-back. Mm-hmm. That's why the game was 62-60 at the end of I think at halftime, and then Brooklyn went on a run. back-to-back second night. But then, like, I'm taking the Bucks now. When Miami is at full strength, tough team to beat, but I'm still taking Milwaukee and the Nets ahead of the Bulls and the Heat right now. Like, I'm taking those the two best teams in the East, and then in the West, you got Phoenix, Golden State, and I'm not like Memphis is surging the 11-game winning streak, but at the same time, it's I mean, I could see them as top. I would actually have the Heat or I would have the Heat or the Bulls probably ahead of Memphis right now. I would.
Right. I love it, man. I love it. Men's college basketball. I have Gonzaga at 1, and I did make a change, gentlemen, based on Baylor choking at home. I have Gonzaga at 1.
I got to say something right quick. I just got an alert. Kevin Durant, MCI, is as of breaking moment, he may be out 4 to 6 weeks. It revealed. So 4 to 6 weeks he may be out. It just popped up.
As soon as they get one guy back, the other one's gone.
Man, oh man. Okay. Well, breaking news, and that's why we have our NBA expert with us. So for men's college basketball, I have Gonzaga at 1, Auburn at 2, Purdue at 3, Arizona at 4, and here's where I'm going to get yelled at. I got Houston at 5. Houston's BPI is pretty high. So I'm going to get on Houston early and just kind of see where they go, because I think come tournament time, depending on matchups, Houston might cause some issues. Coach Francis, any thoughts?
Yeah, I ain't seen one team from the East Coast on your top 5 here, man.
I know, man. Hey, you know I've got a bias, so
I don't.
We got to do something.
Somebody got to do something.
Win some games, man. Do something.
I need somebody, step up on this side. Come on now. Well, this is bad. This is horrible.
Yeah, man. Coach Barrett, what do you think?
I think when Duke has it going, and I think they figured it out, they moved Roach to the bench, have him coming off now. Wendell Moore is your point guard along Duke should be in that top 5. That Duke is pretty good. Like the Miami, I mean, them losing that one ACC game, Miami, that was a close game, but I mean, Duke won the top 5 teams. Purdue he does a great job at Purdue. I mean, he got one of the best players in the country, one of the top 6, 7 draft picks, in Jaden Ivey. But it's something about Purdue, man, at the end of the year, as good as they are.
That's what we say.
Sweet 16.
Done.
Got a little Utah in them?
No, they got a lot of Utah in them.
All right. And then for the women's game, South Carolina is number 1, Stanford 2, Louisville 3, NC State's 4, and welcome back to the big time, the Tennessee Lady Vols 5. Coach Francis, any thoughts on the OCP top 5 women's teams?
No, I think that's I might move Louisville up to 2 ahead of Stanford, but that would be the only change I would make in that group.
Coach Barrett.
I agree with it. That's probably your top 5 teams. I don't see anything. I don't see anyone outside of, that group like coming in right now. Those are probably the top 5. I mean, I still like Maryland. Like I like when they're at full strength, they're pretty good. Like I would have them like closer to, getting the 5 than anything.
Yes.
All right. So games of the week for the week of the weekend of January 21st, 22nd, 23rd in the NBA. Friday, the game I'm going to watch, Chicago versus Milwaukee. Saturday, Indiana versus Phoenix. And Sunday, the Lakers versus Miami. Any of those games pique your interest, gentlemen?
Chicago, Milwaukee, what's going to tell me is where is Chicago at? They've had 2 bad losses they've lost to Brooklyn, and then who did they lose to last night? They got drilled again last night. So, I think it was last night, but it's telling you like that one thing about the NBA, scheduling is very important.
Yes.
Beat the teams that aren't good
Yep.
And then like
split with the good team.
kind of like. And so, like, you got to look a lot of times, be careful with these records. Be careful with these 11-game winning streaks because it's who you play. A lot of times during that stretch, who's out? Is it, and I say this all the time, like, is it a back-to-back? Is it a 4 games in 5 nights? Someone on a road trip? Because in the NBA, people don't realize this. Like, you're on a 7-game road trip. By the time you get to game 5, 6, 7, these guys are ready to go home, man. They've been out on the road for 10+ days. It's like, man, you know what? Hey, we're gonna go out here and play, but it's time to go home, man. So that's what you don't understand. Scheduling the NBA is important when it comes time to that.
All right. So men's college basketball. Here are the games I'm watching. We got Friday, Illinois versus Maryland. Saturday, Kentucky versus Auburn. And Sunday, Northwestern, fresh off their upset of Michigan State versus Purdue. Coach Francis, any game catch your eye?
Definitely not the Illinois Maryland game. No offense, man, but they played like last week or 2 weeks ago, and that probably was the worst. That was the toughest first half of basketball I ever watched. There was turnovers galore. There was more step backs than it was free throws. Like, it was horrible to watch. I mean, it was just horrible to watch that first half. So I would say Kentucky Auburn. Bruce Pearl and of course my favorite John Calipari. Lamar. You remember when we was in Indianapolis at the Final Four and he couldn't find his hotel? We were standing out on the street. Calipari couldn't find his hotel.
I remember that. I do remember that.
All right, Coach Barrett. Any of these games catch your eye?
I will be evaluating the Illinois Maryland game. That I will be. So I would actually be at that game, and I was actually at the Rutgers Maryland game yesterday, and like evaluating, which Ron Harper Jr. was really good yesterday. And so, yeah, I'll be there. That'll be intriguing just to see Coffee and Coburn and see how he's where is his game at. That's what people don't understand. Like, where is he at? Has he improved to be an NBA basketball player? Like that. Right. That's one thing that I'm looking at. Because to me, I've watched college basketball, but I'm more watching individuals now. It's my honest opinion. It's tough to watch college basketball games now because it's no spacing. Like it's not a lot of spacing and stuff like that. But that game, Illinois, Maryland, I'll be at evaluating. Auburn is always intriguing because of Jabari Smith. And so Kentucky Auburn is really going to be good, I believe. And Northwestern tells me a lot if Nance is playing, Larry Nance's son. If he's going to play, he didn't play I don't think he played yesterday. But if he's playing or not, that'll be intriguing versus Purdue.
All right. And for the women's games, I've got the game on Friday, Cal versus Stanford. Saturday, I'm going a little local flavor, Coppin State versus Norfolk State. I want to, check out the MEAC women. And Sunday, Colorado versus Arizona. Coach Francis, out of the 3 games I picked, anything catch your eye, sir?
It's something when the Coppin State Norfolk State game. I look forward to that more than Colorado, Arizona, Cal, and Stanford. That's saying a lot.
Coach Barrett.
The coach at Arizona, she's doing a great job. I mean, last year, Final Four, like, she's good. She's a very good coach. But I'm like, I'm always intrigued to watch Stanford because I think Tara Vanderveer is one of the best coaches ever.
Top 5.
So, yeah, and then MEAC, Norfolk State, the head coach was on the men's side for a long time. Right. So that's always good. And so that's going to be interesting because Jermaine Woods at Coppin State, he's my homeboy from the 757. He's an associate head coach. So, and I think at Coppin's they're playing with Norfolk State and Coppin State.
Have you been?
Actually, the first time I went to Coppin State.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the Coppin State North Carolina Central game.
Okay.
Is what I'm scheduled to go to. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Early this week. I took my daughter and we went to Baltimore, and man, because she had never been like Baltimore. We ain't talk about what you hear about, but I went.
Yeah,
I went up to MLK, went across Pennsylvania Avenue, come across North Avenue, and of course North Avenue. You coming back, you come through campus. There are new buildings on Coppin everywhere I look, man. Everywhere I look, there's new buildings on Coppin. Shout out to the president and everyone involved in improving, that campus and the experience for the athletes and students in general to make it a place, a destination potentially.
That is always good to hear. So, fans, as we begin to wrap up, beginning next week, our Wind Up Wednesday shows will expand our NBA and WNBA basketball coverage. We will move our college basketball coverage to our Throwdown Thursday episodes with the college football season ending, so we can expand our conversations about college sports and all things going on with college as well. We're excited really about expanding our coverage of women's athletics. Any final thoughts, Coach Francis, before we wrap up?
I tell you one thing, I really, really want to take the time. I want to thank Lamar for joining us and bringing his expertise and talking basketball. And we talk about podcasts and how they are. Like, we've been doing this for 25 years. This is a 1 a.m. All the kids are in their dorm rooms in Travers Hall, and we're down in the lobby and we're talking about who's the best player. We arguing with the dudes from New York, the dudes from New Jersey, Baltimore, Herman Reed, everybody down there. We talking about Mark Karcher. We're talking who's the best player never made it. Some guy, what's his name, man? He used to be I forgot. Phil Martelli's cousin. He gonna be mad when I remember this. RC Kehoe telling us a story about some dude named Ra who was supposedly better than Kobe. You know what I mean? Who Kobe dad made them stop the game or some shit like that. Like, the stories, man. That's what this reminds me of. That's what it reminds me of.
Well, it is great to have our longtime friend, Coach Barrett. Any final words before we wrap up the episode, my friend?
Man, I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on. I enjoy it. Like, watching it is one thing, being a part of it or being in the fire is another. And I enjoyed it, man. Like, I love it. And because I love interviewing, but I actually love being interviewed or talking sports. Like, we're just sitting here. It's like you just said, Coach Francis, like, we're sitting here 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and everybody can joke with me. I was up at 4 a.m.
Yes.
It's crazy. I've always been this way. I'm still holding, I'm holding court, as they would say.
Yes.
In the tower. So I enjoy this. It's not personal. I'm saying we're debating. We can discuss, but it's no. At the end of the day, it's all in good sport. It's fun, and it's something like those are memories you can cherish forever, man. So I thank you guys and Dr. Adams, man. Like I said before earlier, one time before, like, y'all, I'm gonna promote it. Make sure you
appreciate it.
Finding the balance, and I follow these guys. What careers. I'm checking to see how Mike did. He I don't know what made him decide to go back to football, but hey, that's what he decided to do. No, I do.
That's an off-air conversation. I ain't have a lot of choice.
I enjoy you guys. Friendship, brotherhood, more than just talking sports. So I appreciate you guys, man. And look, good luck with everything. And I honestly say, like, we're in this together. So we're working together. And anything you guys need, don't hesitate. But because we're together.
Yes, indeed. And fans, you can check out Coach Barrett. Our super producer, Kelly, will post all of his information. We would love for you to check out his podcast, Unmasked, talking about the behind the scenes of college coaching with assistant coaches and a lot of great things that he's doing. And if you're watching us on YouTube, Coach
Hopefully
Barrett's
I'll post
information.
Hopefully I'll post it soon enough, guys. I'm sorry.
Coach Barrett's information will be there so you can contact him on social media. He's a great follow and a lot of great information. And now, on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, and our good friend Lamar Barrett, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.